Alright guys, so I'm back. It's been a while, and I'm sorry about that. Did do a little video whilst I was away in New York. If you haven't seen that, I'll leave a link to that in the top if you want to check it out. But getting down to this, so this is the OLTO-8 ROTO. So this is a Wandering Hour watch, not checked out one on the channel before, but this is the second OLTO-8 I've checked out on the channel, the previous one being this one. If you haven't seen that, I'll leave a link to that review up in the top here, if you want to check that one out. They do make some really interesting and unusual pieces, and this one is no exception. So before we get down into the watch, let's check out the packaging, show you what that's all about. So it's a pretty simple cardboard box on the outside. This just slides off. And then we've got single watch roll inside, which is nice and useful, so I do appreciate that. And then the watch is in that. It's nicely done, with the OLTO-8 branding on top. Just pop this to one side for 1 second though, and show you what else you get. So we've got a little drawer at the bottom here, and then in there we've got the warranty card. And then because this is a review piece, it's not signed or dated, but obviously if you buy one, it will be. As well as this box, you'll get a separate little thing here, which has got the instruction manual in, but I'm not going to go into that. We'll get all this out of the way, quickly show you this little box it comes in, and then we'll get right down to the watch. So it is a really nice one, and obviously you can use it for other watches as well. If you want to go travelling or something, just have another watch with you, so nice and handy. And then here's the actual watch. So it is a really interesting looking piece. As I say, I've not checked out a Wandering Hour watch on the channel before, so this is something pretty special for me. And I do really love the case design on this. It's so sleek and elegant. But before we get down into that, let's quickly go over the dimensions on this first. So we've got a diameter of 39mm, thickness of 12.5, lug width of 20, and then the all-important lug to lug is coming in at 45.7. In terms of weight, on this provided leather strap, it's 62 grams. So, some pretty nice dimensions, as you kind of expect with it being a dressier style watch. So now, let's get a zoom in on that dial, as that is the star of the show with this watch. So if you've not seen a Wandering Hour style watch before, this might look a little bit odd and confusing to you, but it isn't as confusing as you'd think. I'll get into more details on that in a second, but as you can see we've got the 3 discs on this, and then they are held up by the arm in the centre, the 3 different prongs, so it has got quite a bit of depth going on with the dial, and it's just a really interesting looking piece. Then we've got that lovely domed crystal, which integrates nicely to the case, as well as those little cutouts on the side, which again, just really sculpted case with this one. Really do love it. It's really nice. They've done a really good job. It's fully polished. So when it comes to telling the time on this, it's not as difficult as you'd think. So the time is currently just after 2:30, because we've got the minutes at the top, and then the hours are the ones that are on the discs, which are printed, which will rotate around, which I'll show you now. So it's push-pull crown, and then obviously we can just rotate it. So then, for example, now this would be 4:10. And when I do rotate it around, you can probably see that disc at the bottom does actually get rotated around separately, which is done by this little bit at the bottom sticking up that you can probably just see here. It is a really cool mechanism, as I say, pretty unique, not something I've seen on the channel before, so just messing around with this is just fun. And as I say, it's surprisingly easy to tell the time, because you're only looking at the top section of the dial really. So now this would be 12:30. Obviously if it's in between the 5-minute increments which are printed on there, it might be slightly more difficult. And then obviously we've got hand winding as well. When it comes to the movement on this, it's a really nice movement they've chosen as well. So we've got the Miyota 9039, which is the no-date version of the 9015. So that's actually a high beat movement. Obviously we don't have a second hand on this, so you can't actually see the smooth sweep of the second hand, but it is still a nice movement. When it comes to the specs around the outside, we've got OLTO-8 ROTO, in fact we've got Sapphire, which we'll be checking in a second, all stainless steel, automatic, and then the 50-metre water resistance. You've probably also noticed as well, we've actually got quick release on this strap, which is always good to see. So if you do want to swap it out, you can do that quickly. And then we've got the OLTO-8 brand in there, and we've also got it on the buckle as well, which is also polished to match the case. When it comes to the strap, it is genuine leather, but it's not my favourite. It is a faux croc one, so I've not been wearing it that much on this strap. I've been wearing it on something else, which I will show you a bit later on when I show you what they're both like on wrist. But it does suit the watch, I guess. But again, as I say, I'm just not the biggest fan of faux croc. But because we got that quick release, it's easy to swap out, so you won't have an issue with that. And because it is 20mm, you should have plenty of straps to be able to switch it out with. But now, let's check if it is actually sapphire crystal, as they say, using the trusty diamond selector tool. And yep, we have got sapphire crystal, so really good to see. Quickly check out the back now. And on the back, we've only got mineral, which is a little bit disappointing, but not really that big an issue, because obviously it's going to be on your wrist, so it's not going to be getting hit or anything. But the main thing is that that lovely domed crystal is actually sapphire. So that is a real bonus in my book. And as I keep saying, I just think it integrates with the case so seamlessly. And I just absolutely love the case on this. I think they've really knocked it out of the park with this one. Quickly going back to the dial, there are a couple little things that I would probably change. I'd probably remove the text on the bottom here, the automatic and the 50-meter water resistance. I don't think you need them because it's already on the back as well. Just clutters the dial up a little bit, I think. I'd be happy with just the OLTO-8 ROTO on the bottom. But I guess they've done it more for symmetry. But anyway, now let's check out what the loom's like on this. Yep, we have actually got a bit of loom. So let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. I have to admit, I was actually surprised to find this had loom at all. When I initially got it, I wasn't really looking for it. With it being a dress watch, I just didn't think it'd have any. So the fact that it's got any at all is a nice surprise. And I'll show you now what it's like. And here it is. So it's a really unusual loom profile, with it being that Wandering Hour style watch. And again, it looks a little bit odd when you first look at it. So you're probably wondering, how is this working? But obviously we've already talked through how it works. So you can see we've got the numbers across the top, which unfortunately are beginning to fade already. So the loom on this isn't really that useful, which is a bit of a shame really, because the loom on the actual spinning discs, the dial section, is actually not too bad. Lasted an okay amount of time, but as I say, that other section is now pretty much completely faded, so you can't really use this at night to tell the time. But I guess it's just an added bonus, because as I say, I wasn't expecting any loom at all. So this watch is actually going to be launching on Kickstarter on the 25th of July, and if you do want to get in on the early bird prices, you can get up to 38% off the actual retail price. So I've not got full final pricing for this. All I've been told is that it's going to be under $400, so $3 something. So as I say, if you do want to get that early bird price, check out the link in the description, and then you can sign up so you'll be notified when the Kickstarter goes live. And obviously check out some other information, bits and pieces on their website as well. I think if you can pick it up for that kind of price, you're getting a pretty good deal based on what I've seen looking around at other Wandering Hour watches. They seem to be around the 600 plus mark from what I can see. As I say, I don't really have any experience with any. But before you make up your mind, let's show you what it's like on wrist. And here's what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. It does wear really nicely. That little bit of curvature to the case. Pretty slim as well, despite having that nice, lovely domed crystal. And again, just the detailing on the sides of the case with the little cut-out sections and obviously the high polish. I think it's a really good looking piece. And again, as with a lot of OLTO-8 watches, something a little bit different as well, with that Wandering Hour. Obviously it won't be to everyone's taste, but if you're looking for a dressy watch, but you want something a little bit different, perhaps this could be just what you're after. As I alluded to earlier though, I've not really been wearing it on this strap that much, as I'm not a big fan of faux croc, so I'll show you the strap I've been wearing it on more. And here it is. And I think this suits the watch a lot better in my opinion. And this is a strap from Vario. I'll leave a link to this down in the description as well if you want to pick this up. And I think it just suits it perfectly. And obviously the grey colour, with it being a dark grey, I think it suits the dial well. It's a nice match because the dial is more grey than black. In the centre anyway. So let me know what you think. Do you think it suits it? But that's it for this one guys. Thanks for watching, and again if you're interested in picking one up, all the information is down in the description as always, and I'll see you in the next one.